Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We read from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, 18th chapter, text 57. Cetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matpara buddhiyogam upashritya matchita satatam bhava cetasa sarva karmani cetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matparaha mai sanyasya matparaha buddhiyogam upashritya buddhiyogam upashritya machita satatam bhava machita satatam bhava cetasa by intelligence sarva karmani all kinds of activities mai unto me sanyasya giving up matpara under my protection buddhiyogam devotional activities upashritya taking shelter of machita in consciousness of me in consciousness of me satatam 24 hours a day bhava just become. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In all activities just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service be fully conscious of me. Purport. When one acts in Krishna consciousness, he does not act as the master of the world. Just like a servant, one should act fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. A servant has no individual independence. He acts only on the order of the master. A servant acting on behalf of the Supreme Master is unaffected by profit and loss. He simply discharges his duty faithfully in terms of the order of the Lord. Now, one may argue that Arjuna was acting under the personal direction of Krishna, but when Krishna is not present, how should one act? If one acts according to the direction of Krishna in this book, as well as under the guidance of the representative of Krishna, then the result will be the same. The Sanskrit word matpara is very important in this verse. It indicates that one has to no goal in life save and except acting in Krishna consciousness, just to satisfy Krishna. And while working in that way, one should think of Krishna only. Saying or thinking, I have been appointed to discharge this particular duty by Krishna. While acting in such a way, one naturally has to think of Krishna. This is perfect Krishna consciousness. One should, however, note that after doing something whimsically, he should not offer the result to the Supreme Lord. That sort of duty is not in the devotional service of Krishna consciousness. One should act according to the order of Krishna. This is a very important point. That order of Krishna comes through disciplic succession from the bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, the spiritual master's order should be taken as the prime duty of life. If one gets a bona fide spiritual master and acts according to his direction, then one's perfection of life in Krishna consciousness is guaranteed. Cetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matpara Buddhi-yoga mupashritya machita satatam bhava. In all activities just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. Om Agyati Maranyasya Gananchana Salakayam Chakshurum Vitamena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So now we are already in the 18th chapter. Again, we're almost through the book. Going fast. How many times now? 14, 15, I guess. Since 14 or 15 years, these Bhagavad-Gita classes are going on here. I remembering starting by Mother Parvati, who passed away a few months ago. She was very dedicated to this program of Bhagavad-Gita classes. Because Prabhupada desired, one of Prabhupada's instruction was that we have morning Bhagavatam Katha, speaking, discussing Bhagavatam, and in the evening Bhagavad-Gita or Krishna book. So these two books are very important to recite and read and to absorb and to act about every day. There's a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya instructing, I think, Rupa Rupa Goswami, in the giving him guidelines, outlining his book, the Bhakti-Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of the World. Later on, Srila Prabhupada, he wrote a summary study of the Nectar of Devotion, known as the Nectar of the Bhakti-Rasamrita Sindhu, known as the Nectar of Devotion. And so there is one verse that Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu, Vishsmartam na Bhavasyachit. So it means, or Lord Chaitanya is indicating, he instructed Srila Rupa Goswami to that one should perform devotional service in a favorable mood. Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. This is called Bhakti, the supreme Bhakti, pure Bhakti, not mixed with karma and jnana. Jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. So Lord Chaitanya, he, in his teachings, he wanted that this process of pure bhakti, based on his teachings and also of the teachings of the Vedas, is broadcasted and expanded by Rupa Goswami. Therefore, everyone who is following Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu, his guidelines, what he gives on the basis of Lord Chaitanya's instruction, is known as Rupa Anuga. So that means the Rupa Anugas, those who are followers of Rupa Goswami, they're taking the guidelines given by him and ultimately who are given by Lord Chaitanya through him, so that it will be expanded. Lord Chaitanya himself, Lord, please sit down and don't move around. Lord Chaitanya himself, as we know, he didn't wrote or compiled any books. He gave his 8 basic instructions, and in these basic instructions, the Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana, that means the process, the fate to the process, and the goal of the process are described in summary in these 8 verses of Astakam prayers by Lord Chaitanya, known as Chaitanya Astakam, Shiksha Astakam, instruction. Shiksha means instruction. So he didn't wrote any books, but he taught the process of bhakti yoga or bhakti devotional service through his very dedicated, empowered followers like Rupa Sanatana Goswami. They're the main acharyas of our sampradaya, following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his instruction to Rupa Goswami, guideline what he should mention in his book, he mentioned that he should explain how important it is that all the rules and regulation what a sadhaka, what a practitioner in the process of bhakti yoga is following is depends on the two main rules: to always remember Krishna and never forget him. These are the two main rules, and all other 62 rules they are subservient of these two rules. To always remember Krishna and to never forget him. So this is easily told, to always remember Krishna and never forget him, but it's not easily realized. So we can speak about it, but the realization is something different. And how we can realize it? We can realize it by the practice, devotional service in practice. And those who are following the practice of devotional service, they're called sadhakas. Sadhakas, there are different sadhakas. Actually, everyone is a sadhaka. You can be a karma yogi sadhaka, you can become a jnana yogi sadhaka, you can become mystic yogi, astanga yoga sadhaka, you can become a vaidhi bhakti sadhaka, or you can be a raga nuga bhakta sadhaka. Sadhaka is always important. We are always practitioners. Only the liberated, he doesn't have to practice necessarily because he's already in the Uttama, in the Paramahamsa stage. But still, although he is in the nirapeksha or in the detached or from the material levels and psychological levels, completely detached, he's called nirapeksha. He is completely detached or neutral because he is always on the transcendental platform. For him, is not dependent rules and follow necessarily vidhis, rules and regulations. But still, sometimes such a person, out of his kindness and mercy and great realization, he comes to the platform of Madhyama, of a practitioner, of following rules and regulation, as a person who gives an example so that others can follow. Srila Prabhupada, in the introduction to the teaching of Lord Chaitanya, he mentioned that an acharya is like a teacher who is teaching the schoolboys or children in the school ABC. So he's showing it in such a way as he would also learn it himself, in very slow way and in very easy way, simple way. So that's the acharya. The acharya coming, although he is on the liberated stage, he coming down to the madhyama as a paranishta, a bhakta who is firmly fixed in the practice of regulated devotional service with taste and realization. He's attached to it. The practitioner in the beginning has no attachment because we are still attached to sense gratification, to our material duties and material activities based on our body and our professions and our our tendencies or our practice. I don't know the English word now. One becomes addicted to it, to a certain practice on material level. So one cannot easily give up. Like if you're attached to smoking, you cannot easily give it up just by if you hear smoking is not good, so you don't give it up. Or everyone knows eating too much sweets is not good, so it makes you dependent, addicted to the sweet, and also can cause so many diseases, all kinds of diseases caused by sweets or too much salt. But because we are used too much, habited for so many years, or decades, to eat sweets and salty things and spicy things, hot things, like in India. One is amazed, how much chili has to be in a sabji or in a dal or in kitri. For us Westerners, it smokes out of nose, eyes, ears, everywhere. This kind of cooking. And then if you say an Indian, can you please put a little less chili, only a little chili, and say, okay, no, but then still it is too much. It's too much spices, too much salty, but spicy especially. And here in India, people cannot eat if it is not very spicy, very hot. And Westerners, if you eat such kind of food, you lose appetite. Appetite, although you are very hungry, appetite is immediately diminished because it's so much hot, so much chili. So this is all different kinds of, therefore there's so many different kinds of food. Italians eat in their way, the Chinese in their way. Here in India we have so many kitchens from the different directions here in India, from Punjab, from Bengal, from South India. Everyone has its tradition, and according to their taste. Even Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya became a sannyasi and he moved to Jagannath Puri, his devotees, they brought him Bengali food, spicy, and what Lord Chaitanya liked. It means Lord Chaitanya also liked a certain way of food. Or when the first Bengali Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, came here to Vrindavan to establish Gaudiya Vaishnavism in this lost place, cover place, Krishna consciousness was not manifested in Vrindavan more than 500 years ago, before Lord Chaitanya came. Everything was hidden. But then he sent one devotee after another, beginning with Lokanath Das Goswami, with Bhugarba Goswami, with Rupa Goswami, with Sanatana Goswami. One after another, Lord Chaitanya sent here, to establish the holy place, Sri Vrindavan Dham, to a Krishna conscious place, so that other people, that other aspiring devotees, when they come here, that they have an opportunity in a practical way to practice this process of Krishna consciousness. So therefore, when the first Bengali Vaishnavas came here, because India, here in North India or Western India, in Vrindavan or Uttar Pradesh, people liked not to eat rice so much, more chapati and roti, as we know, more on wheat basis. But the Bengalis, but they like to eat only rice. One time I was traveling with one Bengali taxi to Mayapur, and we had a lot of nice Western food with us. And we fed him the whole way. He was eating and eating, all kinds of things. But it was no rice under it, in these preparations. So when we arrived in Mayapur, I asked him, so what you will do now? Then so now I will go home and I will eat rice. I will eat rice. So because a Bengali, his stomach, his belly feels empty if he doesn't eat rice. So when the Bengali Vaishnavas came here, there was no rice available. There was only wheat preparations, and chapati, and like that. And therefore there was one Vaishnava, follower of Lord Chaitanya. His name was, I forgot now, there was one who came here, he took it as a service to the Vaishnavas from Bengal to prepare rice for them. So he came from a very good family. He was not a Brahmin. He came from a well-to-do some business family, landowners. So he was very good in management and in such dealings of practical things. So the first thing what he thought, I want to engage my expertise in the service of the Vaishnavas. So how you can serve the Vaishnavas? First thing is feeding them. Especially the Bengali Vaishnavas came here and they could not digest wheat because they were not adjusted to it. Their organism could not digest the wheat because they only can digest rice proper. Then they feel happy and joyful because they eat rice a lot. 2 mountains of rice, 2 plates full, no problem. So that's the first thing what he arranged. He arranged rice preparations for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And another thing what the Gaudiya Vaishnavas need is mustard oil. Mustard oil. Because whenever they take a bath, they smear their body with mustard oil. That time we had no showers like nowadays. They have to take a bath in a river. Yamuna. And you know, the river is always very muddy. And if you take a bath in the river, so it extracts so many, because of the mud, so many things of your body. So the body feels always dry. And in the cold season, you feel cold. So therefore, it's a must, for a Bengali, I don't know, other traditions here in India, to always put mustard oil in the cold season on the body before you take a bath. Then your body always keep warm, nice, healthy. You will be healthy. So that was another thing what this devotee arranged for the Vaishnavas. So the Vaishnavas were very pleased with him because of his practical service. He was living here to serve to the renunciates. Most of Gaudiya Vaishnavas like Lokanath Das Goswami, Purgarva Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, they were all renunciates, Vairagis. Although they were nicely situated in Bengal, they had very nice positions, family, Brahminical education, a lot of money, a lot of big positions in government, but they gave it up, Tyaktva. Tyaktva means giving up. Giving up all this acquisition, what they naturally acquire due to their birthright and of their material qualifications. Why they could give it up? They could give it up because it became unimportant for them. In a natural way, they give it up because they got something higher, something better. And how they got something better? By meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful avatar of Krishna because he freely gave Krishna consciousness to everyone. But he told to all his followers, I'm only one person. How much I can relish this Krishna consciousness, this ecstasy of devotional service, to love of bhakti, to love to Krishna, or this bhav to Krishna, on prema to Krishna on my own. I have a whole basket or a whole load of fruits here, fruits of love of Godhead. I brought them with me So please, I can only eat some limited. I request you, you all eat these fruits, relish the nectar, and become drowned in the nectar of a bhakti ocean, and distribute also, because these fruits are unlimited. The more you relish and the more you distribute, the more it increases. So there is never a demand of the nectar fruits of bhakti as long they are distributed and as long as they are relished by the devotees. Actually, distribution and relishing goes hand in hand. If you only distribute but don't relish, then we cannot actually really distribute. Then distribution becomes like a business trading to get some results. But if we are convinced about what we are distributing, these nectar fruits of love of God in form of Srila Prabhupada's books, in form of the holy name, in the form of Krishna Prasadam, in form of Srila Prabhupada's words, in teaching the people how to serve Krishna, how to come in contact with Krishna, and how to actually become Krishna conscious. If we are not realizing that and practicing it ourselves, then our preaching and distribution will not have a great effect. So therefore the devotees, they take up the practice of Krishna consciousness in the beginning through vidhi, through instruction of Guru, faith in Guru. But then later on, our habits, our old habits, like eating sugar and eating salty things and smoking and all these things, what we did before, we give up because we get a higher taste. There's one book produced by BBT, it's called The Higher Taste. It's collections of Srila Prabhupada's words about eating food offered to Krishna. We are not vegetarians, we are Krishna Prasadarians, because we are offering all the food to Krishna. Therefore, it's not only vegetarian, it's the mercy, it's prasadam. And there's actually this prasadam that is changing, purifying our senses. It is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and this transcendental sound vibration of the Vedas, especially from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, what purifies our consciousness. Therefore here Krishna, he says, in this essential instruction of the 18th chapter towards the end, actually this is the most important. Whatever a speaker is telling, or a writer of a book, he will tell, first he will outline in the beginning, he will deal about the subject during the whole book, and in the end he will give the essence, the summary. And that's actually the summary. From 55th verse on, 2 days ago, Krishna says, text 55, Bhakti Mama Bhajanati Yavanyas Chasmi Tatvataha Tatumam Tatvato Gyatva Vishate Tat Anantaram. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service, by bhakti. Bhakti Amam Abhijanati. And when one is fully conscious of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Tatomam tatato gyatva vishate tat anantaram. Then in the next verse, Krishna says, Sarva karmani api sada kurvano mat vyapashraya mat prasadat avapnoti shashvatam padam avyayam. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. So now here Krishna, although he spoke in Bhagavad Gita about so many subjects, karma, jnana, yoga, yoga practice, karma yoga, jnana yoga, astanga yoga. He discussed so many branches of the Vedic teachings, because they're all branches of Vedas. Krishna never teaches something non-Vedic. Everything is based on Vidhi. And Vidhi comes from Veda. Veda means knowledge. So that what is knowledge, what is real knowledge about Tattva, that means about the truth, is called Veda. So therefore Krishna, in his because he is the origin of Veda, is the speaker of the Veda, he is the knower of the Veda, and he is also the goal of Veda. So therefore Krishna, as the original speaker of the Veda, he could give the conclusive words or Siddhanta to his dear devotee Arjuna, because Arjuna was not ordinary man. He was dedicated, he was faithful, he was truthful, he was honest, and he was his friend, a devotee, pure devotee of Krishna. Therefore Krishna told, to you, my dear Arjuna, I tell you this most confidential knowledge about me. I will not tell to anyone else. So now, of course, we think, oh, Krishna tells actually this only to Arjuna or to the most pure devotees. So then why we distribute books? Then why we are spreading this Krishna consciousness all over the world? Al Prabhupada makes such an endeavor. This is actually against Krishna's instruction. Because Krishna in the end says, this Bhagavad-Gita, this confidential knowledge should only be spoken to my devotee, who is faithful, not to the unfaithful. So, but then we also have to understand the devotee knows the Krishna's mind and Krishna's purpose. He tells it to the pure devotee and to other pure devotees, because only a pure devotee can understand Krishna directly. But by the mercy of the pure devotee who understands Krishna, he can make it the food or the message of Godhead, who is very difficult to digest, if you get it directly, more palatable and more easily to digest and to accept. Therefore it's so important to hear about Krishna not directly. We are not able, we are not Arjuna. We cannot hear Krishna directly. We are not Brahma either. Brahma could hear Krishna directly and hear from him 4 basic instruction of Vedas. The Chatusloki Bhagavatam. We are not on this level of purity and intelligence and capacity to hear Krishna directly and also absorb and also apply it in our lives. Because if Krishna speaks to you directly, you cannot say, sorry sir, I cannot accept. I cannot accept. I cannot follow you. So therefore Krishna knows that, therefore he doesn't speak to the fools. He speaks only to the pure devotees. That means his eternal associates, or those who are very qualified, who are sadhava, who are pure in heart, who have the capacity to accept and to understand Krishna directly. And through them, we have an opportunity to hear about Krishna and understand Krishna. That's the prasadam. That's the mercy. Krishna's mercy is given through his devotees. He's not giving it directly. Of course, it is also given directly, but through the devotees. Like for example, we all have nowadays electrical power in our house, right? More or less. Sometimes failure, no problem, but it's there. Every day we can count on it. So we know it's electricity. But from where the electricity is coming from in your house? It comes originally from an electrical powerhouse. So, but you are not directly connected to this electrical powerhouse. You become connected to your house, or your flat is connected to the electrical powerhouse through so many wires and transformation stations. who are putting this high power of energy on a level, so that it is usable for us in our household. Otherwise, if the electrical powerhouse full energy will come in our household, the house will blast and explode and will burn down immediately. So we could not live in such a way. So in the same way, we cannot digest or receive Krishna's high power voltage of instructions directly. We have to receive it through the disciplic succession and from the representative of the disciplic succession of Guru Parampara Praptam. That's the way how Krishna is revealing his mercy to us directly. We cannot say it is indirectly. We cannot say the powerhouse indirectly is giving us electricity. No, the powerhouse gives us directly energy. It's not indirect. It's coming directly, but it is coming through different transformation. But the transformation of the energy is the same energy what is produced in the electrical powerhouse. So Krishna is the original electrical powerhouse, the origin of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhava. Everything is coming from me, Krishna tells in the Bhagavad-Gita in 10th chapter. Everything comes from me. If we consider something is not coming from him, or something is independent of him, that leads to atheism. But devotee means he understands and he takes Krishna's direct words coming from spiritual master and from scriptures. Yes, everything comes from me. We cannot challenge it. We were not there in that time. So we have to believe it. But because we also believe Americans were on the moon. Just because we saw a few pictures in the TV in 1969, on the 20th of July. You saw it all in TV. Who saw it? Who was here in that time? You not? I saw it. You saw it?
Neil Armstrong went to the moon.
69, 20th July, they landed on the moon. And everyone believed it. Because some pictures were sent through the TV. But it's actually, it's cheap. Everything can be broadcast in TV. It can be manipulated. Nowadays we know. So many things are manipulated. There's so many tricks, film tricks. And people believe it just by seeing a picture. But the picture can be from somewhere else. For Prabhupada, when he heard Americans were on the moon, he saw the picture and he said, oh, this looks like desert Nevada. Desert in America. How's it called? Nevada desert. So he was actually they wrote in the newspaper like that. Oh, it looks like the desert Nevada, but it's from the moon, and they brought stones from there. And then Prabhupada was smiling, and he said, actually that means that these pictures were made in the desert of Nevada. It was not from the moon. And Prabhupada already told this in 1969. And nowadays, actually, more and more people don't believe it, that actually they weren't there. That is was manipulated. Most of Americans and most of the world, they don't believe it nowadays. But still it is accepted. Like the Darwin theory, it's a theory. It is not proven, but still it's taught in the school. It's a must. So we are accepting things what are actually not real knowledge, what is not proven, what is not actually the truth. It's maybe half-truth or non-truth at all. And when we hear about Krishna's statements, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, everything comes from me, I'm the beginning, middle and end, I'm the original father of everything belongs to me, I'm the friend of all living entities. And therefore everyone should surrender unto me and worship me. Think about me constantly. Don't think only about your family and about your business and about your own personal problems. Think about Krishna constantly. So Krishna is demanding that to his devotee, Arjuna. Because Arjuna, he didn't demand it from us. Understand? Krishna is not demanding it from us, because he gives everyone the free will, but he had demanded it from Arjuna. Because Arjuna was his devotee. But Arjuna was put a little in Maya. Actually, this Maya, or this not taking part in this Kurukshetra war, this refusing of fighting, is caused by Krishna's Yoga Maya. So that he could speak the Bhagavad-Gita, what he spoke already millions of years ago to the sun god, Vivashvan, and through the disciplic succession. This is mentioned all in the Bhagavad-Gita, how Bhagavad-Gita was already known before millions of years ago. But then in due course of time it went lost, and then Krishna as avatar came again and to teach Bhagavad-Gita. Because it was, when knowledge is lost, Vedic knowledge, he comes again to teach the same thing. And he also has to bring or arrange for the recipient who can receive this knowledge. That was Arjuna, eternal associate of Krishna. So therefore Krishna instructed Arjuna, surrender unto me, become my devotee. Think about me, Satatam, always absorb and act for my pleasure. Don't be attached to the result. Many they act, and whatever result they have, they surrender to Krishna, they maybe give to Krishna. This is karma yoga, but this is not pure. This is mixed, self-interest. But here Krishna says, no, first you should think about me and then act. That means be detached and always think about Krishna, and whatever result you will get by surrendering to me and working for me, or whatever work you do, engage, I will give you the result. And if this result is more or less pleasing sometimes and not so pleasing sometimes, it's not your in your how we say it is not your duty or your nature to enjoy it or to hate it. You just accept it and go on, always thinking about Krishna, remember Krishna, I'll never forget him. Natenu kampam susamikshama punchane vatma kritam vipakam ritvak vabubir vidadam namaste jivete yumukti pade sadaya bhak. Lord Brahma, in his prayers to Lord Krishna, he told, Natenu kampam susamikshama punchane vatma kritam vipakam. Sometimes a devotee has to go through many tribulations, many difficulties. But if he still engages his body, his mind, and his words in my devotional service, despite his handicaps and the difficulties in life where he goes through, then his liberation, mukti pade sadaya bhak, will become his rightful claim. Will become like a heritage for him. Like a son naturally will inherit the father's business or money and whatever. So naturally the devotee who is fully dedicating his life in the good and in bad times in Krishna's service, his liberation will become his rightful claim. So therefore a devotee has no anxiety for himself. His only anxiety is how to serve Krishna, how to please him. And to such a devotee, Krishna gives himself. Krishna gives his own personal, intimate service to such a devotee. So a devotee, therefore, He has no business in the material world. He only wants to serve Krishna. And Arjuna is naturally an eternal servant of Krishna, very attached to Krishna, is Krishna's friend, personal friend. But he was put in some kind of an illusion that he didn't want to fight, so that Krishna could give him transcendental instruction. And that's actually the Bhagavad-Gita as we have it now. That means these words were spoken through Arjuna, but Srila Prabhupada says through Arjuna we can learn from him. If you are ready to dedicate your life, also like Arjuna, to Krishna, by learning the science of Krishna consciousness or bhakti-yoga from the spiritual master, from the Vaishnava Sampradaya, then you can also learn. You can also practice, ultimately surrendering to Krishna, thinking about Krishna, not forgetting Krishna, and always acting for the pleasure of Krishna, not being attached. So this is the great mercy, great opportunity, but we receive or can receive if we are somehow or other come in contact with the Guru Krishna Prasadebhai, Bhakti Lada Beach, then this bhakti process of bhakti will become implanted in seed form in the heart. So that's it. So then if we have it, this bhakti seed, when we are connect somehow with Guru Parampara, and we are somehow other little faith, develop faith in this instruction, some nishta or shraddha in the beginning, then that will grow ultimately to attachment to Krishna and to this process of hearing, chanting about Krishna, associating with devotees. Even though we have so many other interests, naturally by positive transcendental association, godly association, we can transform our negative sides and develop the higher taste in Parantrištva Nivartate, as Krishna is saying. And in this way, always stay in Krishna consciousness and be happy, and ultimately making more and more progress in attachment and love to Krishna. This is the perfection of life. And this is Krishna's plan, but he's not forcing anyone. Even Arjuna, he told in the end of the Gita, so Arjuna, you understand now what I teach to you? You're ready to accept, or you still have a doubt? Because originally Arjuna had doubt. Why should I fight? Why should I perform this duty now? This is I like to become a yogi. I better renounce than to fight. But Krishna had another plan. He said, no, we already tried so many times peace. Those of you who read Mahabharata or saw some Mahabharata movie, then you know what happened. Krishna and the Pandavas made so many times endeavors to make peace, but the Kauravas, Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra didn't want to accept. Shakuni didn't want to accept. Karna didn't want to accept. And all these figures practically enforced the war of Kurukshetra. And this was unavoidable, ultimately. Krishna himself in the end went, and they didn't listen to him. And then when everything was ready, everyone was fired up for the war, even Arjuna. Then they're facing each other on the battlefield, and then Arjuna, he asked Krishna, can you show me against whom I should fight here? And Krishna was smiling, and he brought him, because Krishna was the charioteer of Partha, of Arjuna. So he brought him before all this big army, ocean of army of the Kauravas, with Bhishma, Karna. No, Karna was not there in the beginning, but Bhishma was there. Drona was also not there in the beginning. I think only Bhishma was there. He was the general, main general. And so many others, they were there. And who could fight against Bhishmadev? He was a big Maharati, Atirati. He could fight with 10,000 soldiers in one time. Then Arjuna became felt very small and before this ocean of generals who were like Timingila fishes. Huge fishes who can swallow whales, And he felt only like a little shark, and he felt very insignificant. And therefore, he told Krishna, "I cannot fight. This is not possible for me now to kill because many of them they are teachers, they are my superiors, my Guru Varga, my grandfather, worshipable grandfather Bhishmadev, my teacher Drona." Ashvatthama, the son of Drona, also a Brahmana, a good friend of mine. Karna was there also ultimately, who was practically like a brother of Arjuna, although he didn't know at that time. So I cannot fight because they're all my family members, they're all worshipable, so I cannot. But then Krishna, he told, no, you have to fight because they will not stop. They will not run away. They don't want to become a yogi like you. So you have to perform your duty. Otherwise they will ridicule you, they will make your name bad. And for a Kshatriya, what is worse than if people will speak negative and bad about him? It's the worst for him. There's worse than that. So Krishna uplifted him from the bodily conception and of moral codes, and he told him a higher purpose of life above karma and jnana and ordinary yoga practice. He taught him ultimately the yoga of surrender, surrender to the Supreme Brahman, to the Supreme Absolute Truth, who was present directly for Arjuna in form of Lord Krishna. So Krishna mercifully, therefore, he taught Bhagavad-Gita to Arjuna, and Arjuna in the end he understood. He said, yes, I understood everything what you told, because Krishna was ready to retell everything again and again until he understood. Guru is always ready to teach his disciples and again and again, even they don't understand, even they forget. He repeats, he's ready to repeat and give the medicine again and again until maybe it makes a little click so that we understand and then surrender. So fortunately Arjuna, by Krishna's mercy, surrendered, he understood, and he accepted the teachings of Lord Krishna, the Bhagavad-Gita. And so the Prabhupada is saying, through Arjuna, we can also make our life perfect if we are following his way of surrendering to Krishna. So, thank you. Hare Krishna. Any, maybe a question? Yes?
Over this comment, we were speaking about the Bengalis, they take rice. The Bengalis, they take rice. So I see the Bengalis they're happy to take rice. And Westerners, they take pizza and pasta.
The Italians, Westerners.
Now
the whole world likes pasta, even in India. So many pizzerias here in Vrindavan.
This is the comment I wanted to give. This comment I wanted to give you.
I say, every kitchen, national kitchen, is famous all over the world. The Indian kitchen is very known in Italy and Europe also. So many people go to Indian restaurants to eat. So why not have Italian restaurants or Italian preparations here,
But Prabhupada gave us rice rice than sabji.
If you ask me, he's right, yes. Because one should eat, if you're in India, you should eat like Indians. If you're in Italy, you should eat like an Italian. Because that's a common formula. Because if you eat Italian food here in India, it's very difficult to digest in this climate. So therefore, here we have in this climate you have to eat rice. You have to eat the basics, dal, rice, khichdi, sabji, little chutney, like that. Not this heavy. In Italy, this is light food. It's for their mentality, because they have so much rajas there in Italy. And it's completely another mentality and climate than here. It's also southern climate. It's very warm, but also can be very cold. So pizza is for Italy perfect. And therefore, if you go to Italy, maybe dal and chapati and like that, you cannot eat every day. So you have to eat sometimes pizza. You can also make pizza yourself. Now, my wife found out a very good formula how to make pizza. You know how to make? You make chapati. And then you put all these ingredients of pizza on it. It's called chapati pizza. It's perfect. It's better than a pizza. The chapati pizza. Try it out, sir. Try it out. It's very good. You do put the same, because main ingredients of a pizza is tomato paste. This cooked down tomato pasta paste, and cheese. And you can, it's optional, if you want to put some vegetable in it. But the real pizza is only this. It's only this tomato and cheese. This is called how is this called? Margarita. It's very famous, margarita. This is the basic. Actually, the pizza, in Italy, pizza means margarita. All these vegetables and corn and all those things, this was invented later on. But it's not real pizza. With all these things. And then America, they make a pizza cake. No. It's not a pizza, because a pizza has to be very thin, like a chapati. The thinner the pizza is, the better. But if in America they make it big like that. And these I cannot eat, this is like this McDonald's fast food. And very heavy to digest, because there's so much white grains in it with yeast. In the real pizza, there's only very, very little yeast in it. And it's very thin. And only tomato and cheese. Cheese like that, you put over it. You try it with the pizza. It's perfect. Don't have to get go to a pizzeria. And then you have a pizza, a healthy pizza, because it is a chapati pizza. Because most of the pizzas nowadays are made of white atta. No. Huh? Maida. Yeah, that means completely white flour, nothing in it. It's only fabricized. It's not healthy at all. It's like white salt, like sugar. It's actually poison. It's glue. You can also eat glue for it. And people pay so much money for it. But the atta is very good. You make atta chapati from atta, and you put all the ingredients of the pizza on it, and then you have a atta chapati pizza. But Prabhupada's diet is really the best. Even when I go to Europe or to Russia, in all the countries, I always tell the devotees my favorite is this. Although they also want to give me always in some Italian preparations. But this is boring. But Prabhupada's diet, chapati, rice, dal, sabji, you can eat every day, never becomes boring. Because this is what the body needs, more we don't need. Everything else is too much, overeating, or just eating for the tongue, without nourishment. You have also a question?
Yes, thank you so much for a nice class. What are the signs when somebody is spiritually stuck and not growing? And also, what are the actions we should take in order to grow in our adhikar and then be next adhikar in this life?
You can ask yourself, it's like a disease. So if you have a disease and you feel this disease is blockading you, is handicapping you, your energy is not flowing anymore, then you can maybe try to figure out yourself what could be the cause of your lifestyle, way of life. And if you cannot find out, then you have to consult with somebody who maybe knows more than you, a doctor or a teacher. Who can help, who can inspire, who can find out what actually handicaps you, what blockades you in the further progress of bhakti yoga. It can be many different purposes. I cannot deal about that in a class. But I say one should find out good association. And find out through them what you can improve, maybe your japa, your chanting, your regular reading, and also not only reading, also absorbing that what you read, and also practice that what you read. Because many people nowadays only read. Maybe don't even understand properly, because it's only like watching a film. And maybe some things they can remember, many things they cannot remember, but then the thing is only reading and then reading the next book. Therefore there are so many books on the market. Bestseller, people always going after bestsellers, but are mostly sold. Although this bestseller list is also manipulated for information. It's manipulated by lobby, Because if somebody has a good book, is actually helpful to people, it will not become a bestseller. It's guaranteed not. They will put it down, or they will take it out from the bestseller list. Because there's an interest that the people will not become too wise and too much knowledgeable what is going on about the truth. They want to keep them stupid, because if they're stupid, then they can be better manipulated. But in Krishna consciousness, we don't want to keep the people stupid. We want to educate them so that they can really understand what they read and also practice what Prabhupada wanted us to do, And then the mercy will flow. As soon as you start to practice what Prabhupada told us, then you're connected with the powerhouse through the chain of the cyclic succession, like the wire from the electricity coming to your house.
Prabhupada actually, not so long before he left this world, he actually said that he only gave basics because if he would be given more, then actually people would not be able to handle it.
Yeah, Prabhupada told that. I told Jesus Christ told that.
Yeah.
And maybe you misinterpret. Jesus told that. He could tell them more.
Missing?
Huh?
You said missing?
Yeah, she misinterpreted Prabhupada now. Prabhupada didn't told, I gave you only the basis, I gave you everything. There are so many quotes of Srila Prabhupada, I gave you everything. No? Now it's, everything is in my books. Now we read my books and practice. Not? You think so? You only think so?
There's a detail following by Ekadasi, by different things. So I'm just thinking, can one go back to Godhead or anywhere if it's not striving for perfection and actually going for all details and following in details?
But it's not proper in Ekadasi?
Like every, like in the highest one, every Ekadasi is Nirjal Ekadasi.
Oh.
Like following like Nirjal. Or not just the grains and beans, then following actually no tomatoes, no greens, no leafy vegetables. And like details like that.
This is the according to the Gaudiya Math and from and also from Hari Bhakti Vilas. But we are followers of Srila Prabhupada, so Prabhupada made it more easy. No? He himself, he didn't follow all these standards given from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Because if you follow, you read Hari Bhakti Vilas? Huh? You read? Huh?
Yeah,
Partially?
Yeah.
You should read the whole. Then you will easily give it up. Because there are so many rules and regulations in it, you know, that you think that this is hopeless, you know. No, this is hopeless, you know. It's so heavy, all this, and immediately you're cursed, you know. If you don't do this and you don't do that, you go to hell. It sounds to me like Old Testament, you know. No mercy aspect in it. Listen what I want to tell you. Because you have to understand the purpose of Hari Bhakti Vilas. Hari Bhakti Vilas was written because of Smartas. You know what is Smarta? Smartas are the orthodox Brahmanas. Who very strictly want to follow all these rules and regulations. You know, they only go on rule and regulation, not on bhakti. They don't have bhakti in their life. They only have rule and regulations. This is smarta. And they're very proud on their rules and regulations and that they are born in a Brahmana family. Now, listen.
But they can reach bhakti.
No. Hari Bhakti Vilas is not only written for bhaktas, it is also written for the smartas and for all classes of men, you know, who are attached to rules and regulations. But for the bhakta, who know the goal of life, they don't have to follow all these rules and regulations from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. And especially for that we have an acharya. And the acharya is telling you what is right and what is wrong, based on the scriptures. We cannot always follow all the rules and regulations from the scriptures, from a long time ago, who were written according to a certain time and place and circumstances. Therefore, the scriptures have to become, not changed, but has to become adjusted to the time, place and circumstances. Because if Prabhupada would tell us all these rules and regulations from Hari Bhakti Vilas, what to do and what you should not do and what will be the result if you will not do, then you think you and me will be here?
Should one strive for it? That's the question.
Well, if we are attached to it, you can still strive there. Nobody forbids. We have many in ISKCON who are following Nirjala. I have many God brothers and many devotees here I know they follow Nirjala strictly, not on chanting 64 and more rounds of Hare Krishna. So that's okay. But I cannot make it a general principle because we are an international society for Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada gave us the basics so that everyone can join. And from there, those who like, they can build up and increase, but don't become proud and look down to others, you know, oh, I'm better, you know, and you're less, you know, because you don't follow so many rules and regulations as I am doing. So the ultimate criterion is not the rules and the regulations. Ultimately, how much the rule and regulation makes you attached to Krishna. And if the rule and regulation doesn't make you if the rule and the regulation is not making you attached to Krishna, no, then what's the use of rule and regulation? That's the point. Narada makes. No? What's the use of all the tapasya if your tapasya and study is not leading to Krishna consciousness? And what is the use of if you can become Krishna conscious without tapasya and study or Vedic knowledge, if you can attain love to Krishna without? What's the use if you study? Opposite. So it's free to everyone how many rules you want to follow extra, but Prabhupada gave us the minimum rules we should follow, and he also gave us the promise, if you follow that, you will go back home, back to Godhead. You can now doubt it, and you can follow more extra rules and think, yes, now then I'm more sure to go even back home, back to Godhead, than what the Acharya, the representative of Krishna, is telling you. Then you know it better. Sanatana Goswami, actually Hari Bhakti Vilas is a collection of Vedic scriptures collected by Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the founder of Radharaman worship here in Vrindavan, one of the 7 main temples. But only these verses from Mataji, only these verses from Gopal Bhatta Goswami, it's not possible for us to understand, because there are all verses from all kinds of Vedas and Puranas and Tantras, scriptures, Sattvata Tantra, and I don't know what different scriptures that he's quoting. But Sanatana Goswami, he gives his Tikdarshana Tika, that means his purport, his explanation, Sanatana Goswami, to these verses. Not to every verse, but some essential, like the Damodar Astakam. He made some nice explanation, how say, and a purport to these 8 verses of Damodar Astakam, and about Kartik Vrata. He's not giving all so many purports. Because Acharyas previously didn't give much purports. They only because many was already known, or maybe not even so much important for our lives to understand. So they gave only purports or explanations in very short, so that the new devotees could somehow accept. Like Manu Samhita also, it's so many rules and regulations by Manu. But Prabhupada told, if you study Manu Samhita, you will become an atheist. You will become an atheist. Because Manu Samhita has so many strict statements, of law, of proper behavior for human civilization, for a human person, that everyone who will read you will become a non-believer. It will not encourage you to devote your life to a God who has no mercy.
Then why it's written? For who?
Because there's certain people like you who like this kind of statements, Because there are certain people like you who like such grave statements, They're called fundamentalists. They're called fundamentalists.
I like following.
Yeah.
I follow my Gurudev.
Yeah.
Gurudev follows.
Yeah. I understand your mind.
Yes.
It's everything okay. Just keep it private. Just 2 things, 3 things, or Yeah, 3 or 4 things you should keep for yourself. I can give you a good advice, Mataji.
But this they ask questions.
No. Listen now. What 4 things or 3 things what you should never tell to anyone. The vows and vrata what you follow. That means all the rules what you personally follow. You should not tell to anyone. Only to somebody who is very close to you. The name of your guru you should not tell to anyone. Okay. Your mantra, your Ishtadev, worshipable Lord in the heart, you don't tell to anyone. And your personal mantra, what you receive from your Gurudev, you don't tell to anyone. These 4 things you should keep secret.
Sure.
Fourth thing, mantra. The mantra given by Guru, Gayatri. That nowadays became very fashion, to chant Gayatri, Brahma Gayatri loudly, New Age, yogic. Every yoga studio, Om Bhur Bhuva, some singer lady, singing very beautiful tune, But this is actually not right. Gayatri mantra, Brahma Gayatri mantra or any Gayatri mantra should not be chanted loud. It's offense. It's a Dhimahi. Satyam Param Dhimahi. It's a meditation mantra. It's not spoken out loudly. You should keep it only for yourself and go deep in meditation. If you don't do that, it maybe sounds nice for your emotional feeling, your wellness, well-being. You feel good, but it will not change the heart. It will not change. Yeah, therefore you should keep these 4 things very confidential, very secret, and very worshipable, and don't speak about it. That's something. Okay? Huh? What do you say? Haribol Jai. No. Yes.
You were explaining how at the beginning the rules and regulations, how we have bad habits, and by practicing we gradually give it up. How come that after sometimes these bad habits may come back? What to do?
It's like if you're cultivating grains on the field. Then you harvest the grains, but there are also weeds. For the farmers, they always in this season, after they cut all the grains, they put all the fields in fire. Therefore, daily is completely in smoke of so much leftovers what the farmers burn on the field. Why? They have to do it, because in this way all these weeds will not come up again. And insects and all these things what is connected with it, attached to it, it will not come up. So in the cultivation of bhakti-yoga is the same. If you only follow bhakti-yoga principles like this Mataji tells externally, following strictly rules and regulations, but not going deeper into bhakti, then it is only rooting out the weeds, but the seeds are still there. Therefore, when the next rainy season will come, the weeds, you are surprised. You thought, I did so much work to root them all out, and now again they're up. They're all same. Then again you have to do the work. So what you have to do, you have to put on a fire. Bhakti fire. Krishna consciousness is like a fire. So if you chant purely Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without offense, and practice deity worship without offense, with devotion and love, then this acts like a fire. And there is no chance anymore that the bad habits can come up. They will become removed. Maybe not immediately, gradually. Because some weeds always has tendency that some weed will come up. But with the time, your bhakti plant will become more strong and will not become influenced anymore because of a weed. In the beginning, if a plant is tender, not very strong, it's very weak. Kamala bhakti. That means weak bhakti. Then if any weed can become like an enemy, destroying the plant, taking all the nourishment that the plant should get for themselves. But if you root them regularly out already in the beginning stage, by following the instruction of Guru, by not becoming negligent, then gradually in the same time cultivate this bhakti plant, so it will become more strong and can grow like a natural plant, normal plant. Then later on some weeds maybe will still root up or sprout, but they cannot harm anymore. So they will gradually also will die out. Kechi Kevala Bhaktya Vasudev Parayana. By following bhakti, pure Kevala Bhakti, that means pure bhakti. It's like sunrise in the morning, then the fog who is covering your sight to see the sun and the nature around you will become removed by the rising of the sun. So in the same way, when the more the Krishna Bhakti sun will rise in your heart, then this fog of Maya will become removed. Okay? Hare Krishna, bless Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai. Prabhupada ki.